Well, hello, my friends. Today we're looking at the book of Ruth. Now, the book of Ruth, the story, is another example of how God reached outside the box and used somebody for his glory. She was not an Israelite. She was a Moabite. Now, the story goes that Naomi and Elimelech and her two boys had moved to Moab because of a famine. Well, Elimelech died, the two boys died, and now Naomi's getting ready to go back to Canaan. And Orpah and Ruth, the two daughters-in-laws, were going to go with her, but she encouraged them to stay with your family. Well, Orpah kissed her mother-in-law and went back to her family. But Ruth, the scripture says, clung to her. Now, I want to look at the difference between a kisser, like Orpah, and a clinger, like Ruth. First of all, the kisser was emotional, but the clinger was committed. I know that Orpah was the scripture tells us she was emotional, but she went back to her family. But Ruth clung to her mother-in-law. Secondly, the kisser turned to the old life and the clinger followed a new life. Now, it's not necessary to go back to the old life, but oftentimes people that are mere kissers, people that have a shallow relationship with God, will often turn back when times get hard. But here we have Ruth, no matter how difficult the time was, she clung to her mother-in-law. Thirdly, the kisser was out to get, but the clinger was out to give. Ruth, she gave herself to her mother-in-law. She knew she was a lonely lady, and she gave herself to her mother-in-law. Finally, the kisser disappeared, but the clinger became great. We never hear of Orpah again, but we do hear of Ruth again. Ruth became part of the genealogy of Christ. Now, in the New Testament, we also find a kisser and a clinger. Judas was a kisser. He kissed the Lord but betrayed him. But we find a woman who came into a home and wiped Jesus' feet, wept over his feet, kissed his feet, but she clung to him. And the scripture said that she will be talked about all in the future. And I say to you, my friends, it's important for us not to have a mere shallow relationship with Christ and just be a kisser, but let's cling to him. In the hard times, in the difficult times, let's cling to him. And friends, if we will cling to him, the rewards will be great. So let's not be a mere kisser, but let's be a clinger. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.